Welcome back to Hello Nigeria. It's time for trending stories. We're moving first to the education sector. Now, oftentimes on the show here, we talk about how the budget is not allocated enough to education. And now the federal government says that in April, they will declare a state of emergency in education, which we think is actually long overdue. Now, the details of the story. The Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, on Monday said that the federal government will declare a state of emergency in the education sector in April. He made his disclosure when he received Governor Abubakar Bello of Niger State and some members of his cabinet at the Federal Ministry of Education headquarters in Abuja. Adamu requested the support of all state governors to do the same in their respective states. Well, do you agree with me that it's long overdue?
I mean, you've rightly said it. It's long overdue. I'm glad that the person who's at the helm of affairs with regards to the Minister of Education has himself come out to say that we have a problem. One of the first steps to solving a problem is by identifying that we have a problem. The more, if we keep denying that there's nothing wrong, we're fine, we're doing well, we can compete with other countries in the world,
which is
then we are lying to ourselves and we will never get help. I'm hoping that beyond declaring a state of emergency, we will declare a state of injection of funds into that sector and a proper planning committee to see how these funds are expended. It's not enough to put money into a project, but to identify the areas that need, I mean, he's listed a few areas where they're going to work, you know, build teacher training institutes, but we need to understand the problems. And a lot of organizations, third sector organizations, have done researches into this and worked to partner organizations. They can learn from their, you know, they don't have to start from the scratch. They can leverage off their information and start to work from there. But we definitely need a total overhaul in the education sector.
What are the areas that I'm sure we've had this discussion several times, people contributing and talking about the areas that they think that needs to be reformed in the education sector. So you let us know on Twitter at Oliver Modi and at Ayomairo Essay. But I would say that oftentimes the quality of the teachers that we have, you know, are, yes, they are fantastic teachers, but we also need to up the game. We need to, I often say that the National Youth Service Corps should not be a default teaching setting. So what we see oftentimes is that people who are graduates, who are out there to serve their country, are forced into teaching. Teaching should be a passion, not a last resort. We see that people who teach out of passion are better teachers than people who teach because they've tried getting other jobs and they couldn't find anything and then they resort to teaching one. Secondly, people who want to serve, you know, they've tried to get work in different companies and then NYSC just pushes them to go and teach in one school.
Yeah, I think the idea of one, I don't blame NYC. I blame also the economic situation. Like you said, you've gone everywhere. You don't find a job. So the last thing you do is to go and teach. So the people don't even do it for passion. They do it because man must survive. Then on the other hand, I actually think it's not a bad idea for everybody to have that 1 year experience of teaching. You don't have to make it a life's passion, but you can be given the opportunity because everyone in code can teach, but not everyone can teach effectively. Because as long as, if I know how to lace my shoes, I might not be a great teacher. I can teach you how to lace your shoes, but someone else can do it and you will get it and never forget it because of the manner and approach in which the person does it.
So why not, then it's better for us to have the people that will get it, the people that can teach you in such a way you would never forget, because we're trying to increase the quality of our children are going to compete on the international scene. They're going to compete globally and it will be terrible. I remember some of the teachers I had in secondary school, they would write on the board and I'll be correcting my teacher's English. So I knew the ones that were good teachers and the ones that were there because it was the last resort. Teachers who could not put a proper sentence together, which still brings us back to the argument. Kaduna State government and the governor saying that he needed, you know, he had put the competency tests, they failed massively, and he was firing 22,000 teachers. But then when they want to actually take drastic measures, we revolt and say, why are we kicking these people out?
Because unfortunately, the country is hard. I think we're a product of our economic situation. So it's a catch-22 situation, position. You want to sanitize the education sector, but you also don't want to run people out of jobs that are not even available in the first place. I think what would be good is to give them the first refusal. Tell them that you will train them, equip the teachers who are already there so that people don't lose their income. Now, you give them that opportunity on probation. If you are being taught and you refuse to learn and you're not a good teacher, then you'll be fired. But because we can't, honestly, imagine how many homes will be affected if all teachers were sacked. We can do this in a progressive manner. People don't have to lose their jobs. It might cost more money, But in the long run, it will benefit the economy and benefit the nation as well.
Very true indeed. We're very excited that the federal government is paying attention to the education sector. Like Ayo has said, it will be important because we have some ill-equipped teachers right now, so it will be important to have training sessions for them. And then we can now organize competency tests. Our children are our leaders. They're the future of tomorrow, and they will compete on the global scene. And nobody in the international scene wants to hear that your teacher wasn't great enough. So yes, we are very excited about the state of emergency that will be declared. And we hope that beyond talk is cheap, we'll get to see action taken, and then we'll get to see a change.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.